Hi, it's Bianca from the LUKSO Dev Team. In this video, I want to talk about the different tools that you can use to start building on LUKSO. Before we talk about that, let's first make a stop and explain what is LUKSO. LUKSO is a layer 1 for creative economies. What is really important is that it's EVM compatible, which means that you can use all the tools and libraries you already love and are familiar with. For example, Hardhat, VM, WalkMe, Ether.js, Web3.js, etc. Now, you might ask yourself, okay, how is LUKSO different from other chains out there? And the answer is through the LUKSO Standard Proposals, or LSPs. Those are building blocks that enable social and creative blockchain use cases. So anything like decentralized social media, fashion, music, or any sort of creative use case. Next, I want to talk a bit about LUKSO's advantages. I won't cover all the advantages. However, I want to cover the gasless experience because I think this is particularly important when it comes to onboarding. We know that onboarding in Web3 is a bit tricky, and I think that gasless experience for the users has a very big advantage. So what is happening under the hood is that LUKSO has a transaction relay service that pays for users' gas. So from the point of view of the user, the transactions feel gasless. Now, let's assume a transaction. The user signs the payload of the transaction. Then the user sends the signature to a third party, which is the transaction relay service. And then the transaction relay service executes the transaction and, most importantly, pays for gas. This is the flow that is happening. You can see here some screenshot I put from the dashboard. So every month, every user gets 20 million in gas for free. And this is more than enough for the average user. Of course, if you need more than that, you can top up your controller address. Next, I want to cover how you can get started building on LUKSO. The most important place I would say is docs.lukso.tech, and you can find here two main learning journeys. One is for the app developer and the other one for smart contract developer. So based on your interest and most importantly, based on your experience and your skills, you can choose one of these two learning journeys and start learning about LUKSO, LSPs, and Universal Profiles, the smart contract-based accounts on LUKSO. Now we finally got to the point that I was mentioning at the beginning of this video, libraries and tools that can help you to start building on LUKSO. First up, I want to talk about the LUKSO boilerplate. This is a Next.js repository that gives you a full working DApp that you can customize based on your needs. Now, let's see how you can find it yourself. So if you go to the docs, learn, getting started, you can see here the link to the boilerplate. Here is the GitHub repository. It also has a demo URL. You can see here that you can have different components that you can play around. For example, for signing in, you can have like different options. You can have Wallet Connect. You can also have Web3 on board. Or simply you can use the plain injection. Now that we saw a bit about the boilerplate, let's go to the next tool. The next tool is the LUKSO Playground. This provides convenient code snippets to interact with LUKSO Standard Proposals on LUKSO. You can find this also integrated in the documentation. Like for each tutorial, you can find a link to the playground. However, you can also access it here. We can see the GitHub repository and we can see that it has different components. So we have based on categories for universal profiles, for digital assets, for working with the key manager, etc. And you can find in here the specific files. Next, I want to talk about the ERC725JS library. This library allows us to encode and decode ERC725 schemas easily. Now, I bet you're wondering what is ERC725 and what are those schemas? Well, you can see on the left side two smart contracts, a regular smart contract and an ERC725Y smart contract. In the regular smart contract, the storage is represented as slots. And what happens is that after the deployment, you won't be able to modify the properties of this smart contract. On the ERC725Y smart contract, on the other hand, we have a mapping of data keys to data values to store the data dynamically. This means that even after the deployment of the smart contract, you will be able to update its properties. So in this case, the data is represented as bytes 32 to bytes pairs. And in order to manipulate this, we have like different schemas, and to operate easily with these schemas, we have the ERC725.js library. Next, I want to talk about the LSP smart contract. This is a reference implementation of the LSPs, the LUKSO Standard Proposals. This is organized as a monorepo, and each LSP has its own NPM package with its own versioning. This is super good because this means that for each package you can see the version, and this can give you an indication about the maturity of the LSP. So based on the version, you can differentiate whereas an LSP is more mature or it has just been created. The last stop, I want to talk about the ERC725 tools. These are debugging tools to help you interact with ERC725 smart contracts. I won't go into all of those tools, but I want to show you the inspector. So when we're going to the documentation, tools, ERC725 tools, and we're gonna select the inspector. Here we can have a sample address. And you can see that this tool is quite useful. First, it shows us the supported standards. It also shows us the owner, in this case is the key manager. We can check, for example, the type of addresses and the asset names. It has really a lot of functionality that can make your debugging process way easier. Finally, I want to talk about some inspiration for starting building on LUKSO. When it comes to building ideas, really the possibilities are limitless, and I highly encourage you to go and build something that you're passionate about and you believe in. However, I wanted to get you a few ideas in case you're looking for some inspiration. The first category is DAO infrastructure using Universal Profiles. So basically, if you replace the key manager by a DAO voting mechanism, then you can achieve the functionality of a DAO using Universal Profiles. So your Universal Profiles will be controlled by a DAO mechanism and not a single individual. And I think this is super powerful. The next idea are different dApps using Universal Profiles. Then we have transaction relay services with creative and economical business models. Here, for example, you can think about a mechanism where users purchase gas every month in exchange for a given fee. And last but not least, Universal Profile management tools. That's it on my side. I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy building!